Alright, so we're gonna start by cutting up our soap base. Today I'm using the glycerin and goat milk soap base. Those are awesome for any skin type, especially goat milk. It has exfoliating properties in there. It has soothing properties. Goat milk is just an awesome soap base. And glycerin is a great humectant. It's very hydrating, so you're getting the best of both worlds. The mission is to make sure that you are not leaving any chunks. So you want to get these into a nice square. Just aim for what I'm doing in the video. So mines are not too small, but they're not too big. Reason being, you do not want them too big because you are going to be double boiling forever. But you also do not want them too small because you don't want to run the risk of burning your soap base. So get them looking like this, and I'm just going through checking to make sure that there's no chunks that I didn't get to. Next, we're going to be measuring out our oils, which is what we're going to be using to dissolve our powders. Once we got that done, we are going to measure out our powders. Today, I am using kojic acid dipalmitate, which is great for evening out your skin tone. It's great for helping to fade your dark marks, and it's just an overall great ingredient. I love kojic acid dipalmitate. The next ingredient we're going to be using is SEPIWHITE. Again, it's great for evening out your skin tone, great for fading the dark marks. You want to look for these type of ingredients, which are tyrosine inhibitors or tyranase inhibitors, something like that. I'm gonna leave it on the screen, but those ingredients help to stop the melanin production in your skin, which in turn helps to fade your dark marks and hyperpigmentation. Once everything is measured out, you want to start your double boiling process, and that is how we are going to melt our soap. So you just put the bowl in a pot of water or over a pot of water, so the steam itself is melting the soap bar. You just watch that for a minute, make sure that you don't get it burned. So the moment you see that all the bars are dissolved, you want to remove it from the double boiler. If you let it sit, you are going to ruin your soap base. Next, we are going to start dissolving our powders, and first I'm going to dissolve the SEPIWHITE because it's not a lot of it, and you'll see the transition where it went from having particles in the bottom to just the clear oil. And you want to pay attention to not burn your oil and to make sure that the powders are dissolved. So you want to be very attentive when it comes to the dissolving process. And I'm gonna be moving on to my kojic acid, which takes a bit longer to dissolve because it's so much of it, and it always leaves the end product hazy. Like, it's not gonna be clear like the SEPIWHITE was when it dissolved, because this one is just a more thicker and rich powder, so it's gonna be a hazy liquid. Once we have all our powders melted, we are going to go ahead and add it into the melted soap base, and you want to work quick because the powders can re-solidify and recrystallize. So you just want to pour that baby in there and start mixing. Once the soap base is melted, you want to work fast because you don't want it to re-solidify, and then you're gonna have to double boil it again. So keep stirring to make sure that nothing starts clumping. And I'm just measuring out the rest of my ingredients. These are my heat sensitive ingredients, so I do them last once the soap base is cooling down a bit, because I do not want to damage the properties in these ingredients. And this one is carrot resin. Carrot resin is great for the skin. It is an extract from carrot, so you already know carrot is great for the skin. It's great for calming inflammation, evening out your skin tone, along with other ingredients. By itself, it's not really gonna do anything major, but in unison with other ingredients like the kojic acid dipalmitate and the SEPIWHITE, it's really going to go ahead and, give you that work. Next ingredient I'm adding is a sea buckthorn berry oil. I love sea buckthorn. These two ingredients are what I'm going to use to give my soap that rich carrot orangey color. I don't use any powder colorant or liquid colorant or food coloring, whatever you want to call it, in this soap bar. It's just the raw natural ingredients that I'm using to achieve the color that I want. and you just want to mix that in, make sure everything gets incorporated. You don't want any clumps or lumps or anything that isn't dissolved in your product. So just keep stirring, make sure everything gets dissolved together, you know, get that baby shaking and baking. And here I'm adding in my turmeric. Turmeric is also going to go ahead and help add that rich orangey turmericy, you know, just that rich color that everybody wants and thinks that they have to use mica or food coloring for. No, you can achieve that color with just the raw ingredients. You just have to choose those ingredients wisely. So again, mix everything in, make sure that the turmeric gets dissolved, make sure that there's no clump or lumps in your soap, and you want to keep in mind to work fast, because the longer you have the soap sitting out, the more chances of it re-solidifying. So keep mixing, work fast, and get everything incorporated together. Once everything has been incorporated and you are checking for any lumps, any clumps, anything that does not seem normal, once you are satisfied, then you are going to go ahead and get some alcohol and spray your mold just to make sure you are destroying any extra bacteria that could be in there after you have cleaned it. And from here, you're just gonna pour your soap base, pour it into the mold. And what I do after I pour it is I spray alcohol again on top of the soap just to decrease any kind of bubbles that might sit on top of it. And it usually works with 1 pump of alcohol on each bar mold. And just like that, we have our soap. No bubbles, nice and shine and turmericy. I love it here. Usually I let my bars sit for a good hour or two. It doesn't take longer than that to set. I had moved the mold too early and it caused a crack in my bar, but we move. So anyways, that's pretty much it. You just pluck the bar out of the mold, and that's how it came out, guys. I'm very satisfied. How it's showing up here is a totally different color than how it looks when it is in light, but both colors I'm very much okay with. I love it. It just gives the turmeric bar vibe that I wanted, and this is how I make my turmeric bars. I'm gonna show you how the soap lathers. It lathers really well. All you need to do is wet your skin before you start applying your bar and work it into your skin, and it gives you a really rich lather. It's a nice creamy lather and I like it. My customers like it, so it's a win.